that? That's Veda Scott! Veda Scott! One of the top women's wrestlers in the United States.
Oh, and she's come to claim a prize.
What is she doing here? She's taking out both Priestley and Gray. How it works.
So when it comes to the women's division here, obviously no IQ test required looking at you. So why don't we add some brains into the mix?
Finally.
Veda Scott can't just come in here and demand a title shot after attacking two women who just had a very competitive back and forth match. On Bayley, he's got the trunks! And somehow Bayley got out. Starr took a shortcut. This time, the shooting star, the knee drop, right into the spinal column of David Starr, and Mike Bayley is your winner and refuse to lose. Well, that is rising above some of the tactics of David Starr on the part of Bayley to still offer a handshake. Credit to this very respectful young man. Night and day there. The respectful speedball Mike Bayley and the opposite on display from a very sour loser in David Starr. Well, here comes a woman who made an impact and refused to lose. Veda Scott surprising everyone by showing up at the conclusion of the women's title match.
The following contest set for one fall. It is a mixed tag team match. Introducing first, this is Veda Scott.
Veda Scott, as I said, attacking both Kaylee Ray and B. Priestley. Kaylee Ray retained the women's title and refused to lose against Priestley. Veda Scott demanding, after launching out Assault, that she is the next person to get a shot at Kaylee Ray.
Veda Scott made quite an impact on pay-per-view, no less. If you're going to do it on the grand stage. That's what I say.
An unlikely partner, perhaps, for Veda Scott. But I guess your enemy's enemy is your friend. And that is the case here for Mike Bayley.
Introducing her tag team partner, Speedball Mike Bayley!
Speedball Mike Bayley now the #1 contender for the Internet Championship after defeating David Starr at Refuse to Lose. Starr was absolutely livid at the loss.
Well, Starr couldn't believe that he did not get the job done. There was a title shot at stake. David Starr wanted it, but it went the way of Speedball. You cannot fail to be impressed by Mike Bayley.
Internet title could well be in the near future for this young man from Canada, but David Starr clearly insisting on another chance. Now hang on, what is this? Veda Scott and Mike Bayley clearly getting on a little bit better than we expected they would.
I want a kiss as well.
The man with the most nicknames in all of pro wrestling.
Her opponents, first of all, the cream in your coffee, your favorite wrestler's favorite wrestler, the Jewish Cannon, the physical embodiment of charisma, the Bernie Sanders of professional wrestling, the most entertaining man in professional wrestling, Mr. American Rana, the 104-minute man, the main event. Oh, he's really good on Twitter. The king of taunts, the product, David Starr!
David Starr, clearly the #1 member of the David Starr fan club, but he's barely calmed down, I think, from that defeat against Bayley. And Starr looking to even the score here. It's going to be very, very difficult because Bayley is on a roll here in WCPW.
Well, this is going to be very interesting. What a situation developing here in WCPW. David Starr, as you said, Bradshaw, irate that he did not win it, refused to lose. New attitude from David Starr, but one hell of a partner for the product too.
Introducing his tag team partner, she is the current War Culture Pro Wrestling Women's Champion, Kaylee Ray!
Kaylee Ray, one of the hottest properties in all of women's wrestling. Our women's champion here in WCPW. Of course, fresh from returning from the United States of America as well, where she was part of the Mae Young Classic. What an ovation here for Kaylee Ray.
The current women's champion here in WCPW as we prepare to shoot off into a Defiant new era. But tonight, it's all about mixed tag team action on Loaded. Some very interesting dynamics we're about to see. Veda Scott and Mike Bailey on one side, David Starr and Kaylee Ray on the other.
We talked about Bailey and Scott being something of an odd couple. Well, the same I think is true of Starr and Kaylee Ray. Kaylee Ray much more of a humble young competitor than David Starr, who clearly believes his own hype.
Well, they're not just nicknames. All those monikers that David Starr has, they are not just there for show, Dave Bradshaw. David Starr believes that he lives up to his surname, and he is the star of this company.
Looks like Starr wanting to start things out against Bailey, but Veda Scott insisting on starting this out. And this will be the first time we've seen Veda Scott in action here.
Some stretching from Speedball Mike Bailey. We've watched in awe as Bailey has struck opponents down with those lethal kicks of his. Could that be in the future of David Starr? He's already tasted some at Refuse to Lose. Does he really want some more from Bailey? And this is true mixed tag team action here on Loaded.
It certainly is, as see Scott trying to lift Starr. Starr obviously physically the much larger of the two. He goes into the hammerlock.
I think Veda Scott has changed her mind about going up against David Starr.
Scott has been absolutely obsessed, it seems, with the chance to face Kaylee Ray and looking to prove she can hang not just with the women's champion, but with the men's division as well, as Starr goes for an early cover. Got those shoulders down for a 2 count.
The cream in your coffee looking pretty damn good right about now.
I'm saying that though, Scott fighting back.
Oh, spoke too soon.
Veda Scott twisting the arm behind, and the submission applied to Starr. Starr floats over into the cover. It's a 2 count only as Scott back to her feet and smashes Starr in the face.
I think Veda Scott wants to give some of the same medicine to the women's champion, Kaylee Ray.
Don't forget we're moments away, of course, from our WCPW title match.
Oh.
Our main event made by our general manager, Stu Bennett, earlier on. Marty Skrull going to have his first title defense against the Kiwi buzzsaw, Travis Banks, later on.
What an opportunity for Banks. Oh, Kaylee Ray is in now, but look, Veda Scott scrambles over to the other side of the ring. And now we have Kaylee Ray versus Speedball Mike Bailey.
And they are standing on opposite top turnbuckles. This will be a fascinating encounter. Talked about some of the recent success of Kaylee Ray over, of course, in WWE, among other places. Been big in ICW in Scotland and all over the world, really. Well, Bailey has been having a hell of a 2017 as well. His quarter-final match in the Pro Wrestling World Cup against Will Ospreay, voted the best match of the tournament by wrestling fans around the world.
Oh, look at that athleticism from Speedball.
Ray into the corner, leapfrogs behind. Bailey does the same thing. Bailey will head to the rope, ducks a clothesline from the women's champion. And a Hurricane Rana.
Oh, and Kaylee Ray managed to find a way out of it. Stalemate. Wow. Listen to this crowd.
This is great, great stuff between Mike Bailey and Kaylee Ray.
Kaylee Ray, I have watched for years. Oh, Kaylee Ray wasn't watching Veda Scott, who came in from behind.
And Starr does the same thing. Bailey and Ray, clearly the two most respectful of the four in this match. Which is why it's Such a surprise that they're teamed with different partners, I suppose.
As I said at the top of this match, such an interesting dynamic on both sides of the equation.
Drop kick off the top from Ray onto Bailey. Starr sending Veda Scott face first. Look at this tag team synergy between Kaylee Ray and David Starr. Now Bailey will try to go for the suplex. Starr stops it from happening. And now Starr, the help from Kaylee Ray, slams Bailey down. Ray will go for the cover and Bailey kicks out on 2.
And Mike Bailey had to kick out because Veda Scott was nowhere to be found. Kaylee Ray believes she had Bailey down for the 3. Stiff forearm.
Yeah, she's got him down again with that forearm.
Well, Kaylee Ray has mixed it with men before. I've watched her face men in ICW in death matches, if you can believe that. She is certainly not phased by facing any gender.
I can absolutely believe that. She's one of the toughest competitors, male or female, you're ever likely to meet. As Bailey into the corner. Well, she'll have to be tough if she's going to take shots like that from Mike Bailey. A low cross body in the corner from Scott. Scott very impressive here as she tries to demonstrate her credentials, demanding that women's title match. As I said, she's kind of been obsessed with Kaylee Ray, it seems, over the past couple of weeks as we found out her refuse to lose. Cover here. Scott gets a 2 count. I tell you, if Scott was to be able to pin the women's champion tonight in Manchester, that really would make a strong case for her getting a shot at the title.
Well, Scott making no secret over her ultimate goal here in WCPW. She knows that there's big things happening here on this side of the Atlantic. She wants to be part of it. And she is directly targeting Kaylee Ray's women's title.
Smart move by Scott here as well, backing Kaylee Ray into Scott and Bailey's corner. And Bailey is a legal man.
And David Starr not happy on the ring apron with referee Joel Allen.
David Starr's never happy.
I don't think that helped out his partner Kaylee Ray though one bit. Oh!
Drop kick right into the back of Kaylee Ray, and Bailey gets another 2 count.
Kaylee Ray kicking her legs in pain and frustration on the canvas. David Starr reaching with every fibre of his being to get that tag.
A lot of support here for Mike Bailey, a lot of respect from our WCPW fans after that performance that he put in the World Cup. Kaylee Ray, though, take him down by the head. There's a tag from Starr. I don't think Kaylee Ray was looking for the tag, but Starr has tagged himself in.
It's worked out in their favour, though. Kaylee Ray rolling out of the ring. David Starr now has Mike Bailey down. Oh!
David Starr unloading on the man who beat him at Refuse to Lose to become the #1 contender for the Internet title. Look at this from Starr.
It's all the frustration of what happened on pay-per-view coming out. And the cream in your coffee. Mr. American Runner. I can't even speak.
DDT,
this action is so hot, Dave Bradshaw. This is what Loaded's all about.
Spinning kick, though, that martial arts background of Mike Bailey coming into play. But Starr equal to it. Bailey goes down. Starr for the cover. David Starr, did he get him? No.
And look at Starr's face. He's fighting hard not to get frustrated. We saw that at Refuse to Lose, and there we go. The slap to speedball Mike Bailey's face.
Bailey struggling to get up. Starr looks like he's headed for the ropes.
Mr. American Rana, I got it right that time.
Starr on the shoulders of Bailey, trying to wriggle free. Bailey, we've seen this before as well. The moonsault into the double knee drop, right into the abdomen of the product.
And now, is it crucial that Starr makes the tag to Kaylee Ray? Veda Scott wants back in, she gets in.
Yeah, Starr needs out of there in the worst possible way, but instead Veda Scott is gonna, what's he doing here? Some kind of leg lock, I think.
Oh, she's taking too long though, Bradshaw.
Yeah, Kaylee Ray is in.
Oh,
Kaylee
maybe
Ray.
not.
Oh! And the suplex on Ray, but she still had Starr locked up, so done some damage to the ankle of David Starr. Starr, picking up Scott in the end. It was Scott who went into Kaylee Ray. Scott now into Starr. She'll go for the cover, hooks the leg, and Starr kicks out.
Mike Bailey down on the arena floor. It's Veda Scott and David Starr one-on-one inside the ring. Kaylee Ray feeling it on the ring apron too. What a match.
Starr going down to one knee to prevent him being picked up for the suplex. Scott changes plans and goes for the forearm into the face instead, but my God, the back of the neck across the knee of David Starr.
That could be it. But David Starr, he's not thinking about the pinfall. He wants Kaylee Ray inside that ring.
Starr will go for the tag. He gets it to Kaylee Ray.
Kaylee Ray smells blood.
Yeah, Bailey's not there. Mike Bailey still incapacitated, and that means that there will be no tag for Veda Scott. Scott into her own corner at the hands of the women's champion.
Well, Kaylee Ray has to get Scott out of that corner and towards her own.
Kick to the face from Kaylee Ray. She'll try and pin Veda Scott and gets a 2. I talked about what it would mean if Scott was to pin Ray. Conversely, if Kaylee Ray pins Veda Scott here, does it mean that Scott's case for being the number 1 contender is dead in the water?
It's a very good point. Very, very good point. Scott cannot afford to lose to Kaylee Ray here on Loaded.
Scott sent to the outside by Ray. Bailey is out there. Hang on. Bailey's on the apron. Starr sees him. Bailey clothesline to the outside. Kaylee Ray take out both her opponents. David Starr launches as well.
Uh-oh. Are we going to see Starr and Ray in stereo?
Starr and Ray taking out Bailey and Scott. What a match this is.
One hell of a mixed tag team match.
The crowd wants more.
I don't think Veda Scott and Mike Bailey want any more.
Looks like Starr and Ray are happy to oblige. They'll go another time.
Yeesh.
Tell you what, David Starr and Kaylee Ray are a much more effective tag team unit than I expected them to be. Talked about how they're an odd couple. Sometimes odd couples work, and that seems to be the case here.
Yeah, they're not the only odd couple that are working here on Loaded. We've discussed that issue. This is an entirely different one that we are seeing before our very eyes.
Bailey now holding Scott as she ascends to the top. She's balancing across the top rope. Great agility.
Phenomenal balance.
Oh, God. Veda Scott takes out Starr.
Mike Bailey's feeling it.
Yeah, he might not be done here. Bailey off the middle rope. The moonsault.
And I think the knees of Mike Bailey crashed into the face of Kaylee Ray. Another kiss.
Yeah.
Another kiss, Bradshaw.
Veda Scott.
Get off me. We're not following
Mike
suit.
Bailey. What? I'm out of your league. Kaylee Ray rolled in.
It's a league I'm happy to be relegated from.
Veda Scott will go for the cover. Gets a 2 count. Kaylee Ray still kicking out despite all of that punishment she took on the outside. But now what's this from Scott?
Oh, this is dangerous.
The reverse Boston Crab.
The spine of Kaylee Ray bent up like a pretzel.
A novel submission move. Starr is reaching for his partner. Bailey is holding Starr back.
It's important that Starr gets to Kaylee Ray in time.
And Starr will try and stop it, but Bailey unloads. Bailey, the number 1 contender for the internet title, with those kick after kick after kick on David Starr.
And out goes Starr. Kaylee Ray in desperate trouble.
Yeah, Ray is still in the submission.
Can Kaylee Ray, the women's champion, make it to the ropes?
She's just inches away, and she's fingertips on the ropes and grabs it. Scott will have to release the hold. What a painful looking submission that was.
Oh, Kaylee Ray, and what lasting damage will that do to Kaylee Ray's back and spine?
Take some vertebrae out of position. Slip a disc. Scott will send Ray to the ropes. No, she won't. Ray counters, kick to the jaw of the would-be number one contender. Champion taken out by Bayley. Knee to the forehead from Starr on Bayley. Everyone getting taken out one after another here in this high-octane mixed tag team match.
Everyone's down.
All four of these competitors are exhausted on the canvas.
I'm exhausted just watching them.
This is the kind of action we've come to expect on Loaded. Again, our penultimate episode tonight.
And this, Dave Bradshaw, is the kind of action you can expect going forward.
The WCPW, of course, on course to become Defiant Wrestling after next week's Loaded. And now Starr and Bayley are arguing. They've each got the other's partner on their shoulders.
Meanwhile, Kaylee Ray and Veda Scott completely helpless.
Then they're negotiating whether they're prepared to show mercy to each other's partners. Bayley is suggesting they both put each other's partners down unharmed.
Gentleman's agreement.
On a count of 3.
Oh, some respect unloaded.
But the women taking out the men with dual Canadian destroyers. Girl power reigns supreme here on Loaded.
You want to talk about a women's revolution? Veda Scott and Kaylee Ray showed that one is in full swing.
Speaking of swinging, Kaylee Ray swings out of that attempt. I guess it was an attempt at a powerbomb, maybe another Canadian destroyer.
Oh, Veda Scott blocking it twice.
Yeah, but now she's up in the gory position. Maybe going for the gory bomb is Kaylee Ray, the women's champ. Again, trying to pick up this time for a suplex. Takes out the shin. Kick to the jaw, but Kaylee Ray takes one to the jaw as well from Bayley. Starr cuts off Speedball. Kaylee Ray. Flatliner.
Oh, wait a minute, we have
a submission. Is a submission. Ray has got her leg and her arms wrapped around the head of Veda Scott.
Veda Scott, that right arm may reach out for that bottom rope, but it's so far away. The only thing Scott may be able to do with that limb is tap.
Look, Scott is struggling, trying to get some movement going with her legs. She needs to get closer to the ropes. Starr is in there.
Mike Bailey back in also.
Bailey will break this up. He probably just had seconds to spare. I'm not sure that Scott could have lasted in that submission for much longer.
Crowd chanting for Speedball Mike Bailey.
Strikes from Kaylee Ray. Ray walks into the boot of, or into the foot, the bare foot of Bailey. Shooting star double knee drop from nowhere.
And wait a minute now, Veda Scott.
The cover, and Starr breaks it up.
And here we are again, another stalemate.
This is great, great action. Now it's Starr and Bailey once more. Bailey, again, those martial arts kicks, one of the toughest strikers in the wrestling world today, as David Starr is finding out again. Kaylee Ray struck Bailey. Starr takes him out.
Oh, it's 2-on-1.
And now maybe the gory bomb. Referee took one into the stomach. Starr will fight back.
The referee's out of position here.
Yeah, Ray could get the cover thanks to Starr, but referee has been struck here.
Kaylee Ray apologising to referee Joel Allen. Veda Scott looking to roll up the women's champ.
Yeah, Kaylee Ray had the ropes though. I think Joel Allen's going to be okay. But hang on a second. There is the roll up. There is the roll up. And Veda Scott just beat the women's champion. Wow. Veda Scott has just made a statement here about her intentions.
Here are your winners, the team of Speedball Mike Bailey and Veda Scott.
Maybe Veda Scott is the real deal.
Another kiss.
She certainly has strengthened her case here to be the #1 contender for the women's title. What a win for Bailey and Scott. Well, what a night we've already had here on Loaded. New tag team champions crowned. The seemingly undefeatable War Machine defeated by the new champions Primate and Jimmy Havoc. Plus at the top of the show, our new general manager, Stu Bennett, announcing the first title defense for our new champion, Marty Scurll. It's going to happen in a minute against a member of the Prestige, but that member is not Joe Hendry.
No, it's not Joe Hendry, and the prestigious one, he cannot be happy with that. It is in fact the Kiwi buzzsaw Travis Banks who gets a shot at Marty Scurll. But don't forget, all that and more. We have one more episode of Loaded coming up next week, Bradshaw, and what a show it'll be.
We certainly do. Some great matches already announced for next week's Loaded. A fatal four-way elimination match between four men who have a lot of history with each other. El Ligero, Drake, Jay Lethal and Martin Kirby. Plus B. Priestley goes one-on-one with her former gatekeeper Viper, and Liam Slater against Alex Gracie. Those matches are already signed. We also know Will Ospreay will be here, the Young Bucks, many more as well. It's all coming up next week on the final episode of Loaded.
I am Defiant.
I am
Defiant.
I am
Defiant.
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 I am Defiant.
I am Defiant.
I am
the villain.
We are Defiant.